So now it's the time to discuss the challenge part of the workshop. For those of you who are not, am I audible? Okay. So for those of you who are not familiar with the task of VQA and the dataset, I will first give a very brief overview of the task and dataset. I will then talk about different VQA challenges that we had, different competition phases, the rules, and then the most awaited, I will announce the challenge results and we will award GPUs sponsored by NVIDIA to the winners. And finally, I will show some interesting analysis based on challenge results. So, what is visual question answering? Given an image and a natural language open-ended question such as what is the mustache made of, the task for an artificial intelligence system is to generate a natural language answer such as bananas. The VQA dataset is built on top of images from COCO and abstract scenes. The questions were collected from Amazon Mechanical Turk, where the workers were asked to ask questions that would stump a smart robot. These are some example. Thanks a lot, Dhruv. So, okay. So these are some example questions in our dataset asked by Mechanical Turk workers. There are questions about objects such as what is the mustache made of. There are fine-grained recognition questions such as is this vegetarian pizza. There are counting questions such as how many slices of pizza, and there are questions about common sense such as does this person have 20/20 vision. So the VQA dataset consists of more than 250,000 images. There are 3 questions per image, resulting in total of more than 750,000 questions. For each question, we have answers from 10 human workers, and we also have 3 additional answers which the workers gave without looking at the image. So, in total, we have around 10 million answers. We provide 2 modalities for answering questions for both real images and abstract scenes. And these 2 modalities are open-ended and multiple choice. In open-ended modality, the task is to generate answers to the questions, whereas in multiple choice modality, the task is to pick one of the provided choices. So we had 18 choices for each question, and the choices are the following. So in all those 18 choices, there is always one correct answer. There are 3 plausible answers which I just told that those were provided by workers without looking at the image. So these are, so for example, if the question is what color is something, the answers will be colors, but they won't be correct answers. There are 10 answers which are the most popular answers from the training set, and the rest answers are random answers. So as I mentioned earlier, we had 10 people answering questions, and so this accuracy metric, what it does is it checks that the machine generated answer exactly matches with how many of those 10 ground truth answers, and if it matches with at least 3 of the ground truth answers, it provides 100% accuracy. But if it matches with either 1, 2 ground truth answer, there is a partial scoring mechanism. And the reason behind doing this is, as you can see in the current example, the question is what object is this, and some people say television, some people say TV. So if at least 3 people said TV, the machine generated answer should get points for that. So these are the human accuracy on the open-ended task for real images. The overall accuracy is 83%, and we also evaluate accuracy separately on questions whose answers are yes, no, questions whose answers are numbers, and the remaining questions. These are the multiple choice accuracies, and as we can see, the multiple choice accuracies are strictly greater than the open-ended accuracies, as you would expect. These are the human accuracies on for the questions and answers on the abstract scenes, and this is the multiple choice accuracy for abstract scenes. Okay, so that was about the task and the dataset. Now let us look at the VQA challenge. So we had 4 VQA challenges, and all the 4 challenges were hosted on Codalab. We had 4 tracks, open-ended and multiple choice for each of the real images and abstract scenes. So the rules for real open-ended and real multiple choice are same. So let us look at these 2 challenges together. As I said before, the real images were from COCO dataset. The training set consists of around 80,000 images, 3 questions per image resulting in 20 to 40,000 questions, 10 answers per question resulting in 2.4 million answers. The size of the validation set is about half of the size of training set. And for the test set, we have 80,000 images to 40,000 questions. So let us look at the test set in more detail. So following COCO, we have divided the test set into 4 splits, each consisting of around 20,000 images. The first split is called test dev, and this is mainly for the purpose of debugging and validation. So participants could upload their predictions on this split unlimited number of times. The next split is test standard. This is for the public leaderboard. There were limited number of submissions for the split, maximum 1 submission per day, and in total of 5 submissions. And participants are also supposed to report numbers on this split when they are comparing numbers with other methods in papers. The next split is called test challenge, and this is the split on which the participants are ranked. They did not know their accuracies on this split till yesterday, and I will be announcing the winners based on this, the accuracies on this split. And the final is test wizard. This is mainly for checking overfitting. So if there are significant differences in accuracies of a team on test wizard versus test standard, it should raise a red flag that there was some kind of overfitting. Okay, now let's look at the abstract scenes challenges. So the training set consisted of 20,000 images, 60,000 questions, and 0.6 million answers. The validation set is half of the size of training set, and the test set consisted of 20,000 questions, 20,000 images, and 60,000 questions. Okay, now is the time for winner announcements. Before I declare the winners, let me introduce Leo Tam. He is deep learning solution architect and community manager from NVIDIA, and he will be presenting the GPUs to the winners today. First, I will announce the results for abstract scenes challenges. Before I do that, I would quickly like to point out that for the open-ended challenge, we had 5 teams from 5 institutions across 3 countries. For the multiple choice challenge, we had 4 teams from 4 institutions across 3 countries. And the top 3 teams are same for the open-ended and the multiple choice challenge. So, now the winner team is Machine Intelligence Lab from University of Tokyo, and the team members are Andrew Shin, Kuniaki Seito, Yoshitaka Yushiku, Tatsuya Harada. They scored 67.39 on the open-ended challenge and 71.18 on the multiple choice challenge. Let's have a big round of applause. So Leo would award these GPUs to the winners. Let's give a big hand once again. Now for the real images competition. So we had 25 teams from 26 institutions across 8 countries for the open-ended track. For the multiple choice track, we had 15 teams from 17 institutions across 6 countries. And the top 5 teams are the same for open-ended and multiple choice tracks. First, I would like to announce an honorable mention for the Real Image Challenges. It is a single person team ranking 6th on the open-ended and 10th on the multiple choice, and we think it is quite commendable. So the honorable mention award goes to Brandeis University, and the only team member is Aditya Prakash. They scored 62.80 on open-ended and 65.17 on multiple choice. Congrats a lot, Aditya. So now it's the time to announce the runner-up and the winner teams for the Real Image Challenges. The runner-up team is Never Labs, and the team members are Yanshap Nam, Jung-hee Kim. They scored 64.89 on open-ended and 69.37 on multiple choice. Let's have a big hand. Congratulations. And finally, the time for winner team. It is UC Berkeley and Sony, and the team members are Akira Fukui, Donghook Park, Jalen Young, Anna Orbach, Trevor Darrell, and Marcus Orbach. They scored 66.9 on open-ended and 70.5 on multiple choice. Let's have a big round of applause. Okay, so now let's see some analysis of results. So I would like to say that since the trends were similar for all the 4 challenges, I would only be focusing on the open-ended challenge for real images. So this plot shows the challenge accuracies for all the team real open-ended challenge. The green bar here is the baseline model from our ICCV paper, and the blue bar here is the a better version of that model which is in our archive paper. So we can see that there is a significant improvement in the performance of the winning team compared to the baseline model. In order to find whether the teams are statistically significantly better or not, we bootstrapped samples for 5,000 times, and we report statistical significance at 99% confidence. So this plot shows groups of teams which are statistically significantly different in different colors, and we can see that the top 2 teams are statistically significantly different from each other and also from the rest. We were also curious to know if there are certain questions which all of the top 10 teams were able to answer, and if there are questions which none of the top 10 teams was able to answer. So we made this plot where the x-axis shows the number of teams out of top 10 that were able to correctly answer certain questions, and the y-axis shows the percentage of questions they could correctly answer. So the first bin over here, it shows the percentage of questions that none of the top 10 teams were able to answer correctly. So these are difficult questions. And the bar over the I would like to say that the oracle accuracy would be 100% minus this. So 80.6% of the questions can be answered by at least one team. The last bin shows the percentage of questions that all of the teams were able to answer correctly. So these are easy questions. But we should note that the set of difficult questions also include those questions whose ground truth answers are not in top K answers, and most of the teams use classification into top K answers as answer prediction mechanism. So if those answers are not in top K answers, you wouldn't expect model to answer those questions. So we found out that 50% of the difficult questions are the questions for which the answers are not in top K answers. And here we show a visualization of such questions whose answers are not in top 1000 answers. So the innermost arc shows it contains the first word of the question, the second arc contains the second word, and as you go further from the center, the question gets completed. It is interesting to note that most of these questions are OCR based questions, such as what is the name of, what is the number on, what is written on the, what does the sign say, what time is it, and some other questions are fine grained recognition questions like what kind of, what type of, and others are very open ended questions such as why. So another thing that we are interested in knowing is their difference in the distribution of questions that fall in easy questions and that fall in difficult questions, but the ground truth answers are present in top 1000. So these visualizations compare the two types of questions, and we can see that a large percentage of easy questions start with is, while the percentage is very less for the difficult questions. So it turns. So basically, we can say that the binary questions are easy to answer. Another thing to note here is the questions that start with how many are difficult to answer. So now let's look at some qualitative examples of success and failure cases. What is the woman holding? And the machine generated answer is correct. What room is the cat located in? And the machine is able to correctly predict the answer. Is it going to rain soon? And the machine is able to answer it correctly. Is this a casino? And it says no. Now here are some of the failure cases. So note that in this case, the question, what is the woman holding, is the same as the question in this one of the success cases, but in this case, the machine is not able to answer it correctly. The other example is, why is there snow on one side of this stream and clear grass on the other? And the machine just says yes. The other example is, where is the blue and white umbrella? And the machine doesn't have a sense for relative position. Is the hydrant painted a new color? And machine doesn't know what is the common color, and blue is not a common color. So the second bin in this plot, this shows the percentage of questions that were correctly answered by just one team, and so we were curious to know if this is the winner team that was able to correctly answer the questions, and it turns out that a significant percentage, so 22% of the questions are answered by winner team, but it is also shared by other teams more or less uniformly. We also did tests to see if there is a certain team which is good at a particular type of question, such as number question, or a particular type of question such as what color. But it turns out that there is not statistical differences in the accuracies of the winner team and the other teams, and same for the different question types. So in the last couple of days, we conducted a poll asking all the participants about the details of their method to get a sense of what kind of methods people are using for VQA. We had 25 responses, and I would like to show the results of this poll. So it turns out that ResNet is the most popular CNN that people used for VQA. LSTM is the winner for language modeling. And people are using it, half of the people are using attention, half of the people are not using attention, and people are almost always not using attention for questions. We were interested in knowing if people are using ensemble of methods or not, and it's more or less 50-50. Are people using external data other than VQA training set and ImageNet to pre-train CNNs? And most of the people are not using external data. There are a few people, so 20% of the people are using external data, and so when we asked them which external data they use, they told us that they used Visual Genome and they used Microsoft Cocoa Captions. So some people 72% of the people are not using question type specific mechanisms. So it is not the case that they have different model for counting questions, a different model for color questions. They have just one single monolithic model. Most, as I said before, most of the teams are using are not using generation but classification mechanism to answer questions by classifying it into one of the top k answers. Okay, so that's all I had for the challenge. And now I would like to ask the audience and the participants whether how did they like the challenge? Are they interested in it sufficiently enough to take part in it next time if there is a VQA challenge 2017? And if they are interested in participating, what all changes would they like to see? Would they like to have evaluation for subtasks like counting colors separately? Would they like to have more easy or more difficult data set? And would they like to have conversational or dialogue based question answering and not just one round of question and answering? Or would they like to have a new evaluation metric? Or would they like to have annotations, maybe attention annotations? So thanks, and I would be happy to answer any questions.